good, everyone? Welcome back to Team JVS, and we are here with a review for Shogun Episode 3. And I got a bunch of people here with us to chat about this episode, which, again, I think this might have been my favorite episode of the series. So I'm definitely excited to hear what everyone else has to say. So, what do you guys think? Introduce yourself first, as Sam would say.
Well, my name is
Uh,
Sam. Okay. Go ahead, ladies first, Vanessa. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Vanessa, and I thought this episode was amazing. I think I said it right before we started recording. It reminded me a little bit of Battle of Blackwater Bay. It was like season 1 of Game of Thrones. So it was, the show gives me very Game of Thrones vibes, which I love. Like the good days, like season 1 through 3. But but no, I love this episode. I agree. I think it was probably I think each episode keeps getting better. So yeah. What about y'all?
I think it's a great follow-up. Oh man, my camera. There's a great follow-up to the first 2 episodes start, which is always a big concern, how a show premieres and how it follows up afterwards. And I think the character dynamics are tightened more, and there's a lot to be left of to each interpretation of like who's on whose side and where we might go from here onward.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I think it, like Vanessa said, it just keeps getting better and better. I think that the characters are growing on me. Like, even characters are doing like really cunning, messed up stuff are like really growing on me. Like some of the pirate dynamics in the back half of this episode were actually really dope. But our main lead, like he is actually growing on me. Like I want him to succeed. Like I'm wanting him to be better than what he thinks he can be. And so, yeah, I thought this is one of the best episodes so far.
I think one of the things that I'm really liking is to see some of these characters grow, to see the respect kind of slowly, be gained throughout some of these characters. What do they call them? They call them the Ancient. I'm not sure if I'm butchering that, but
I think
yeah.
So, yeah.
So like to see like him slowly gain their actual trust and for them to be impressed to the point where they're kind of testing him. It's been really cool because I mean I wasn't sure how they were going to handle his characters to the point where I wasn't truly a big fan of him in the first 2 episodes. Like I didn't like he was just there. I didn't really care. Like I didn't have negative thoughts, but I didn't really have anything like crazy to say. But now we're at the point where he's like proving himself more and more. We're learning more about his character. We're seeing him bond with other characters, and it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Uh-oh, I think we might have lost Ronin. Oh no. Ronin, you okay? Fire took him out.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Just switching stuff around because the camera's acting weird.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Because our main lead, he's such a very engaging character because Hiroki, every time he's on screen, he commands it. And I think that even in this, like as a lord, you don't know when he's one gonna be in danger or two, he's getting over on the situation. Like he is very smart, intuitive, but he put the barbarian in this episode through the grinder. And I think through his trusting him with certain situations and him seeing this man kind of grow, it makes it even more engaging because the relationships are starting to change. Like there's different levels to it. By the end of the episode, like they made Blackthorn kind of like a commander in his own right. Like, I mean, he's going to be able to do certain things with this ship that it's like, he was trying to, at first he tried to BS it. He was like, no. Like, please respectfully say. And then he was like, nah, I can't BS anymore. Like, yeah, sure. It's an honor. Like I'll bite it. But one of the things in this episode I thought was really dope is we started to getting a little bit about the character that has been with him the whole entire time, and I forget her name. What is
Mariko?
Yeah.
Mariko.
So we get an understanding of kind of who she is, and also she's got a spouse. Like she actually has a husband, and she's got I can't remember if she has a daughter or
she has a son. Yeah.
A son, man.
And the way they kind of slowly tell that story with also revealing that he has a daughter, I thought that was a really interesting dig into more characterization. That was one of the things I think I like most about this episode is that they're starting to flush out the characters very naturally. It's not forced in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I was caught off guard because I mean, she looks so young. So like when that kid popped up, I'm like, oh, this is probably her little brother, and then it turned out to
Mhm.
be her like a whole
Different
son.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm
Well,
just
yeah, I would
like,
say she might actually be very young.
yeah. I mean, but it was interesting to learn more about her character, and I think the one thing I really enjoyed was seeing her and you know I'm so bad with names. The
John.
ancient
Blackthorn.
John.
Blackthorn. Seeing them actually have normal conversations
Mhm.
and it not being like so political. It was just them actually talking. She seemed to genuinely like curious about his son and daughter, which I thought was just it was sweet. I just really enjoyed that because it didn't feel forced. It was just a casual conversation. We got to see more kind of humanity from them, which I thought was a plus.
I love that
Yeah.
you point that out because many people, especially people in the Western culture who adapt stuff just because they like samurai stuff, that you would think they would just lean into the warrior element. And thankfully, Hiroyuki Sanada's a producer and he's a consultant on this stuff. That it's just like, let's not just focus on that, even though that's a pivotal thing and it's something that people love to watch. Let's remind the folks these folks are also family members, their daughters, their sons, their mothers, their fathers, their granddaughter, grandparents, granddaughters, etc. And it adds weight because when they do the politics or do the warrior stuff, it's like, okay, where's their mind? Where are the decisions being made from the heart, from the mind, or from both? And it's great fuel for drama and something of this size and scope and volume.
I want
Yeah.
to put up a different perspective, a little slightly different perspective, because
Okay.
one of the reasons why I really like the show, especially, um, Hollywood has a tendency with cultures that aren't its own, aren't white culture, to center whiteness, and regardless if it's a black story, if it's about indigenous people, if it's about hell, it's even if it's about like Italians or Latino, it doesn't matter. There's always this white man or a white person in it to center it around to like have the white audience connect to. And that's something that it's always been something that's annoyed me. And a lot of material, because it always feels forced. It always messes the story up. It always throws the story off. Feels like it's forced. It feels, it usually just kind of, it makes it unreal. Like with certain
Mhm.
stories, like Hidden Figures, they made up a white guy just because they needed a white savior for a story. Things like this happen all the time. This story is fascinating because you can tell the two main leads are using each other. And I think it makes for a much easier and much better story than trying to center this. Here's this white man. He's going to change everything, like the Last Samurai type. Like it's very much like he is at a disadvantage in every way possible, and he is using his own smarts to figure it out and make his way through. And it's not like everyone around him is stupid, like, oh, we don't know, Western culture, da, da, da. Like, no, they're literally smart as shit. And Toranaga is like he is so smart using this dude and everyone around him, even though he's like so pragmatic that he doesn't even trust his own family. I think it's all so smart and so well done. I really, really, really like the show because it really, they're nailing every point. And I think that's one of my biggest things I was watching out for and still will watch out for, because I think it makes for a better story when the culture itself is actually celebrated and thoroughly thought about and written well. You know what I mean?
I like that perspective because funny enough, you mentioned The Last Samurai because Hiroyuki's in Last Samurai, and I love that movie. But and I think from my perspective that yes, Tom Cruise is the big name, even though Ken Watanabe is for me The Last Samurai. You follow his character much like Blackthorn, where Hiroyuki's the lead, in my opinion, and Mariko's the second lead, and then you follow Blackthorn, where he's observant and yet he's the outsider and he sticks out, and it's like, okay, what does he bring to this civil war that's going on? And doesn't put him up front, but it puts him back as a wild card, which is genius and strategic for Lord like Hiroyuki's character Toranaga. And I recently saw a video of like how Hideyoki, if he's not in front of the camera, he's behind the camera, and I felt that even without noting that he was a producer on it. So I'm glad that there's this perspective, and from what I've been hearing, people are accepting it and reacting to it in a positive way.
Yeah, there's a character in this that, all intents and purposes, you could call him like the anti-hero. But Kashigi is a very
Oh,
interesting
yeah.
character, right? And on paper, with the wrong hands, it wouldn't be developed well. But they put him in certain scenarios, specifically in this episode, where our main character is like, "Look, I know what your BS is, but I'm not gonna kill you. Like, I want you to tell me what you want, so I can understand, so we can find a common ground." And even his relationship with John, it comes from a place of self-preservation. Like John,
Yeah.
like Vanessa said, he's got to earn every single inch. As funny as the last scene with John is, and him continuously diving in, it's a part of him being proving himself. It could be that, the main character is intentionally trying to get John to a point where he can train him, or he's trying to see what he has in him. But this character right here, he's doing that with everybody. And so I love the fact that he's such a complicated character, in that it's about self-preservation, but he has a sense of honor at the same exact time. What's the character that's the pirate that is just kind of always giving in to John? I think it's Vasco. Vasco is always
Portuguese.
giving John crap, right? Because initially, a few episodes back, of course, John saved his life, but even then, he tried to turn on him, and it was like, a character like that on paper is just like, this is gonna be a good throwaway, but he is a central part of how this narrative is being told. Like, they're taking their time with every single character to flesh them out, but also allow those small moments to matter. Bizzy, I know you're going to talk about one character. I can't wait for you to talk about that. Met his untimely end, but in the time that he was there, he did earn every respect that I had. But go ahead, I'll let you.
We talking about the character that went out like a champ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do want to put out there, I don't think they actually showed him die. I know this ain't no superhero show, but
Yeah.
I mean, this dude literally cut the corner, and we see 100 people following him, but he did not fall. And so that was Medico's wife or husband. What am I saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, that was like a cool, small little introduction. We saw him as being, kind of a serious dude. We also heard her say like he was a very honorable and skilled warrior, and I really liked how they highlighted that, like the amount of respect that kind of bled through the screen that even I felt when he we have Blackthorn over here yelling like there's still time to go back and get him, and he was willing. He doesn't know these people anything. Oh, he owes them everything, but he doesn't know these people, so he could just be out for his own neck. But at the same time, he was trying to go around and save them. But they understand how things are. So to see we have even the Great Lord standing up and giving a bow out of respect. And I don't know, just the amount I got from that one scene, just the amount of emotion that kind of I felt, even though I didn't really have a connection with this character. I don't know. I just think everything, like the shots, the writing, everything in that scene was just beautifully done. It was ridiculous to me that I was just that connected. I was just freaking out, like, oh my god, this is insane. Like, I don't know. I just think they handled it so well. It was, oh man.
Yeah. No, it's hard to like take that short amount of time to build up a character and then like take them away and everyone like feel like
Exactly.
It was really well done. It gave more of an insight into Mariko as a character and how her life is, and I want to know more about this whole setup. But it highlights the differences between Eastern and Western culture, whereas like Blackthorn's like we don't leave men behind, we go back, we will risk everything to save everyone, whereas in this Eastern culture it's like we choose how we die. We don't we know we accept the moment of death and we choose to greet it, It's so different. Neither I love how they're never saying like one side is better than, it's always like they're two equal perspectives.
They're not letting us know what's wrong and what's right. They're just showing us,
which is very smart writing. It's so easy to fall into one side or the other, but it's so smart to just be like, this is what it is. That's it. There's honor in this and there's honor in this, and that's cool.
Even with scenes like in the beginning when we saw the doctor trying to push, like he was pimping out one of the women, and Blackthorn was like hesitant about it, and then he's like, oh, if a man is more of your speed, and he's like, where am I? And then we have that moment later on where she's, genuinely, she was curious, like, hey, did you actually feel as though, like, women shouldn't have, been pushed upon you like that? And it was just like, even in that moment, they didn't say like, oh, what was right or wrong. They were just saying, no, that's just not how he does things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I feel like the way they're handling certain things like that, like the writing it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's so insane to see how everything's happening bit by bit.
Yeah, because
little things like that.
It was interesting how they even worked that in, because initially, like, the doctor was like, yeah, he needs a stress relief. Like he needs a woman. And it was kind of like, okay, where are we going with this story? And then he kind of goes back and like keeps on ragging on the doctor. The doctor, he's a pimp. Like,
Yeah.
And she articulates to him, like, making love. In the way that she said it, it kind of threw him off. And he's like, I've never heard it be approached like that. And that's just good writing, because then it was a segue to, especially from a married woman. And then that made her vulnerable to unpack who she was, and this vice versa. So it's like, that's how natural conversation happens, right? Like it starts one way and then it triggers into something else, and it blossoms to later on, like them having a more open-ended conversation about, his relationship with his daughter, like what actually drew him. Because the end of the day, he was kind of like, it's out there. Like, this is what drew me. It's not even so much to see, but the prospect of where this is going to lead me. And I forsake everything and everyone to do it. But it's weird because in that moment, and in the moment where she started talking about her husband, she was hesitant. She didn't completely divulge her emotions about her husband. She just said, he's a good man and he's this. And then when he talked about like the sea, like she immediately connected with it. And even the crazier thing is when he was starting to dive back in, she had a smirk. So it's like, even though she sees their difference in him, it's a respect going back and forth that I love. But it's not just from an romantic side. I think it's all around. All the different characters are finding respect and connection in some way, shape, or form in the foolishness that's happening and everything around it. Because there's some political stuff going on as well. And I'm curious to y'all how y'all thought about some of those dynamics that are very Game of Thrones-esque. And I was, at any moment, I was like, man, somebody about to get killed, bro. What's about to happen?
It's like watching an intense chess game, like for reals. And sometimes you don't even have to hear them talking, just the look, just a flinch, someone looking back at somebody, or someone stepping 1 foot or 2 steps back, and you're like, it's saying volumes about like, okay, this group of people are trying to out someone, and this one is trying to get over, think outside the box and be like, all right, how do I preserve what I promised to my previous lord, and yet not get myself killed and the people I have around me killed, and yet at night any one of them could just stick a knife at me and game over. So I love when there's when there's action, it's worthy of the drama that it follows. It's worthy of the time taking to do an action scene or an intense sequence away from verbal communication verbally, whether it's giving information or just growing the chemistry between one another. Because again, a simple ending scene where it's just them just diving underwater, and yet be like, you put Blackthorn through this, and yet it's leading up to be like, all right, I'm not. You might be lying to me, but I'm going to use him. Meanwhile, why don't we just get along and not try to kill each other in the process? So it's awesome, just awesome as hell. Oh,
okay, calm down, Ronin.
I'm trying.
I like
I got the mute button.
I like the there's a couple scenes like political, like where one of the lords was like, hey, you guys need to do this vote, but homie, he quit, so you can't do the vote, I guess, according to the rule. Oh no, that was hilarious. I was like, someone's head's gonna roll, but nothing happened. Like, that's just so funny to me. And he was just like, I thought you needed 5 of y'all to, but well, nope, he's done. Thought that was hilarious. And then him, Toranaga, like kind of like bargaining, making deals with like the pirates and stuff to like let the ships go. Like, it was so interesting to see him just like, he's so quick, even though he doesn't know any of these people, he doesn't know Spanish culture, doesn't know Portuguese culture, he's still quick, like he to get what he wants. He's very quick to leave homie behind, but then like Blackthorn behind, and then like Blackthorn is like, I gotta make it through anyway. Like it's all so smart. Like it just, like I said this before, I swear Toranaga is like 2 or 3 steps ahead of everyone, and it's because he doesn't trust nobody. Like he doesn't trust his own son. He'll still keep a snake close. Like what's his name? Kashigi. What's his name? Kashigi. Yeah, homie. That he's playing both sides. He'll play. He knows he's playing both sides. He knows he can't trust him, but that doesn't matter because he can still use him. He will keep anyone around as long as he can still use you, but he doesn't trust anyone. It's so interesting. All the political stuff is fascinating to like watch, and it's also terrifying because I'm like, someone's gonna die. Like, you know what I mean? Like someone's gonna get poisoned, someone's gonna get stabbed. I don't know. It's just like, I'm waiting for someone to come up behind, like the classic, like sneak up behind, slit the throat. Like I'm waiting for something like that to happen to someone that I care about, because I'm starting to care about these characters. Anyway. Yeah.
You know, I completely agree with you, because the thing about it is when he was bargaining with the pirates, bargaining with the Christians, and then at the same time bargaining with his life in certain situations, it's kind of just like, when he had that conversation with his son, and son was getting really agitated with him, he's like, no, you don't understand how to assess this. And once you do, you'll be able to survive. But until you do, just watch, just learn and observe, like talk less. But it's very interesting how he's navigating a lot of these different situations. And it's funny because we haven't even really seen him let loose yet. We've never seen him even cornered or be really frustrated or mad. He's been in a good place to be able to intercept a lot of these situations. I think the thing that I'm worried about is his faith or trust possibly in John. I don't know. I'm worried about what that will do against him, because John technically is a bargaining chip. He shouldn't try to use him as leverage like that. Under his command in any capacity. I think that that's a dangerous move, but he's going to do it because I think he knows the usefulness that he can use with John. But I think that will hurt him in the long run. I really do. But I don't know. You guys disagree or not?
Yeah, I can see it to an extent. Again, it's a wild card. It's a wild thing to have him with you, not against you. And I love how you brought up the whole thing about not showing that much emotion. Like, to me, the most intense he ever got, and again, it's just with the eyes, it was when John was showing him the map and telling him what everybody from the outside thinks of Japan and how they perceive who owns ownership of this land. And he was just like, are you kidding me? Are you effing kidding me? Yeah. Yeah.
No, Ronin, what's your thought? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, there was also that scene where he was like the trickery, where he like basically pretended, and they stuck him out, and then they were like, and then the firefight in the forest. He didn't even seem all that phased. He was like,
Butcheroo. Yeah.
Another thing that must get through. I was like, okay.
Yeah, the way that John had to kind of handle that whole situation was hilarious. When me and Ronan, was it you and me, Bizzy, we were watching it, like we were like cutting up. Like, this man is ridiculous. But I don't know, Bizzy, what were some of your thoughts, man?
So yeah, I mean, I thought that was a fun scene. So yeah, I really liked how he took charge, the way he was trying to yell certain things. I mean, he's still learning this language, and it's pretty obvious, learning, like seeing him kind of trying at least.
He's trying.
And you hear him yelling a word, which I don't think means the word that he was trying to yell. And so then we have one of the guys, he's like, he means quicker. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then they start, yeah. So it's just, I don't know, that whole sequence just insane to see him kind of like stepping up and being in charge. I did like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the progression of it, I guess, towards the end of the episode, again, like, her husband kind of fell behind, sacrificed himself. But it didn't stop there, because even after that, like, the pirates were like, oh, John's got to stay behind. And John was able to get on the vessel to try to like rally them to win. Did you guys think that he was going to crash? Like, what did you guys think on that final moment? Like, did you think he was what were you thinking was happening?
Plot armor. He's in all of the episodes.
Yeah, I wasn't worried. Literally what I was going to say. I was not worried about his life, but more of the life of everyone else involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have been
Like,
surprised if they made it past and the only thing that's left is a log, and he's the one on the log. You know, like I mean,
yeah.
like Vanessa said, it's plot armor. You know, I wasn't worried about his safety, but everyone else is on that ship because we didn't know them. You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was rallying them up, but I was like, I don't know if they're gonna make
Mhm.
it, bro. They're gonna need some help. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it
he
was
got
a
himself
swift
a little
move.
ship.
It's a
Was he called
swift
an admiral
move,
now?
and it shows the character stuff. It's like, okay, in a tight spot, he can make a good decision that can help them out in the long run. Which is why I love Hiroyuki's reaction. Be like, "Ah, son of a bitch did it!" You know, I was like, "All right, cool,
Yeah.
cool."
It's like he did it, that son of a bitch.
Yeah, his gamble went through.
And now he has 2 ships, right? They have 2 ships.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's a new day. It's literally a new dawn, and I don't know. I think the thing is, I don't know where we go from here because now they're a moving target at this point, and I don't know if he's gonna try to train John. I mean, he wants to kind of get information from him because John asked, "Well, please, can I get my crew back?" He never said yes. He basically told his men, "Learn everything you can from John, so we can be sea combat worthy." So I don't know. Did you guys think that? What do you think they're gonna use John to do? What is his plan? What is his play?
Well, he said to train him, right? Like everything he knew, and he was like, "I've never done it." So like anything he like, basically how he got through the rocks. I
Like,
assume all
yep,
those
battle
tips and tricks.
tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to
Yeah.
know how to like he wants to know how to defend basically against any army. So John has the knowledge of, say, the English, if you will. So he wants him to learn. He wants his men to know how these people think in order for them to be well prepared against an attack from, I guess, them, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think he's just trying to be as prepared as he possibly can be. I think he's at the point where he kind of, I don't want to say fully trusts them because I don't think he trusts anybody,
Yeah.
but I think he feels as though he has his hooks in him. You know, he can at least trust that he's not going anywhere anytime soon, and that he doesn't have any other allies to betray. Betray him too. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he's playing it safe, but he truly wants to have this advantage, which means learning stuff from him.
Yeah, I think the reason why the whole learning progress is because, okay, Ishido and the rest of the lords, we kind of know how each of us fight. Maybe we all learn the same tactics. With this one, I can use something different that won't be as predictable. That is an element of surprise. I'm like, all right, if our old way, if the ways I've been taught, the tactics I know aren't working, throw in this if you will, for lack of a better word, dark horse, and see what happens. See if that gives us an advantage or if it swings another way.
It's hard to say. I don't know. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this episode. Bizzy, was there any points that we didn't talk about we need to go over?
Off the top of my head, I mean, I feel like we covered a majority of the stuff. I like, again, I think Vanessa mentioned this, but what the Spanish guy, I forgot what his name is, but even though
Vasco.
yeah, the love-hate relationship that we have between him and Blackthorn,
Yeah.
where they were just like he just loved talking crap. And it was so funny to watch him. He was like, "Oh, your mother!" Like they were just the amount of your mothers I heard. It was just, it was so humorous, but it was so stupid, but fun at the
Frenemies.
same time. Frenemies, that's the word.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that I did like a lot. But I don't know. I think we got a majority of like the really good parts. Like I mean, some of the good stuff. Yeah.
I like that Vasco like said, "All right, we're even now." Like, you saved my life. I'll let you through to this one. We're even.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, so far. I mean, this is such a strong start. It's ridiculous. Really.
Yeah. No, I agree. So yeah, what are our closing thoughts on this episode and review?
Letter grade.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I'll go first. I would say my final thoughts are: this is a good episode, really good episode. I can't wait to see what happens next. It was really good. Tension was great. Characters I'm caring more about, so I would give it. I think I'll give it an A, even.
Do you think it was better than the first two?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Those first two started with such a swing. You know what? I'll say this episode is just as good as the first two, but for different reasons and what it's going forward. I think the momentum has not gone away. If anything, it just built up more. And shoot, I'll say a solid A for me. And I think for these first 3 episodes, it's the best show of the year for me thus far. If it keeps it up, it's in the bank. It's in the bag, I think, for me.
Wow. Dang. Like, hold on. Dang. Yeah, I mean, for me, this is a really good show, man. This is too good. This is an A all day. I mean, it could be an A to A plus. I think when I go back and rewatch it, it's like I'm gonna lump them all in. Like I feel like each episode is just getting better. I was gonna ask you guys, do you guys consider this a foreign series as opposed to an American series?
No,
it's on for FX, so it's considered
it's
a American production, just foreign language.
Yeah, only reason why I asked that is because primarily, I mean, there are Americans in this, but for the most part, it centers around.
There are 0 Americans in this because America has not been established yet.
Right. So,
well, American actors, yes.
Right.
I feel like yeah. I mean, it's just like because it's set here, just because people involved here. I don't think it makes it a foreign film. I feel like it enhances it if anything, but it still makes it, of course. But no, yeah. I mean, I get what you mean, but yeah, not on that side of things.
Yeah. What's your final grade, Bizzy?
Dude. So I think that this is probably I think this is better than the first 2. But yeah, I truly think it's better than the first 2, but that's like hard. That's a really hard bar to pass because the first 2 were such a strong start. But I think a majority of the reason why I'm voting for that is due to the fact that it's just getting better and better, and then the world building is insane. So I'm just looking forward to more and more and more. So with every episode comes more excitement. So I think that's where I stand. But I'm gonna give it an A, and I can't wait for episode 4.
Oh yeah, same. So it's time for everybody to plug. First up on deck, Vanessa.
You can find me at Vanessa Shark on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, other assorted social media. I have a website, vanessashark.com. I write for multiverseofcolor.com. You can read my interviews and all that jazz. Yeah. Who's next?
You killed it on that one. Ronin.
You can find me at Ronin Unchained on YouTube, on Twitter, on some of the social medias. I'm covering Last of Us, Star Wars, some Marvel stuff. I'm trying to do my best to cover this show on a weekly basis, ASAP. And look out for some traveling stuff down the road.
Ooh, I'm excited. Bizzy, where can everybody find you, dude?
Bizzy Braun everywhere. Bizzy Reactions on Instagram. We're almost at 100K on TikTok, and we're like 50 away from 28K on YouTube. So follow me.
Nice.
This man has single-handedly brought me back to reactions. I've retired from reactions years ago, but he brought me back. So give all the respect to Bizzy. We have been covering a whole lot of crap.
We're using that
not over with yet. We're still adding on stuff. We're gonna make that man cry with something we're gonna be watching really soon. So
get out of here, bro.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah, anime film. It's gonna make him cry. So yeah, we're gonna go. We'll be back for episode 4. Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks.
Falling off the top of